Well, it's actually, Africa Traditional Medicine Day, and we're going to be discussing with the Director of Traditional, Complementary and Alternative Medicines at the Ministry of Health, Titus. Thank you so much for joining us. And should we say happy African Traditional Medicine Day? I mean, it's interesting to note, you know, that about 10,000 species of medicinal plants are actually said to be available in Nigeria, and in Africa 80% of the population actually depends on traditional medicine, you know, for health care. But where exactly is alternative natural medicine in Nigeria right now? What's the status? How much progress have we made?
Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
And I'm happy to at least to see that you know so much the way you spoke. And I can tell you that Nigeria has done a lot. Actually, it started as far back as 1966 when deliberate steps were taken when the University of Ibadan was mandated to look into research on herbal medicines. Before then, the practitioners have been there. You know, traditional medicine is the oldest. Is the oldest, and it is not alternative at all, if at all, because it's not. It's the oldest, and about.
So it's wrong to refer to it.
Yeah, as alternative. It is actually, because if you look at it, about 80% of the populace utilize it as their primary form of healthcare. You know, the rural. I'm talking of the rural areas where, because the practitioners are found all over the place, all over the communities. So about 80% of the populace patronize it. And so, you know, you can't say it's an alternative, actually. It's only that we have not developed it faster than what other countries have done. And then we have now trying to depend on the orthodox system.
Okay, so why haven't we developed it? I mean, if it's the oldest form of medicine, yes, 80% of the population depend on it. But when you look at the market share for traditional medicine, you see the likes of Europe, Japan, Asia, the US taking the larger chunk of the market share. So is it that even though it's traditional, we like everything foreign? We have taste buds for even foreign traditional medicine?
Of course, that's where we find ourselves. You know, maybe it started with colonization. When it came, you know, those colonizers brought in their systems, and we embraced them, and then we forgot to develop our own. But other countries have gone ahead and done that, and that is why, having realized Nigeria has come back and much progress has been made, you know, I can say that many steps have been taken that have really improved. Like now we have a policy on traditional medicine. It was developed in 2007. We had it. We also developed a Nigeria Herbal Pharmacopoeia, which has a list of medicinal plants in Nigeria, which studies have been done, and there is specifications on those medicinal plants. And these are standard documents to be used by researchers and practitioners. And at the level of administration, the Federal Ministry of Health started a program, and as a unit in the Ministry of Health to actually handle issues of traditional medicine. And this was upgraded to a division, and in 2018, it was further upgraded to a Department of Traditional, Complementary and Alternative Medicine. So, you know, there are three systems here now, three healthcare systems that WHO is promoting. Of course, you know, the orthodox, and then we have traditional medicine, and then complementary and alternative medicine. It's not traditional or complementary. These are two different systems. Right. Yeah, because, you know, traditional is our own, indigenous one, and then complementary is the tradition of others, which we have borrowed. We call it for example, if acupuncture is traditional to China, they call it traditional Chinese medicine. But here we are practicing it, and we call it CAM because it's not our tradition. And so it's complementary and alternative to our own systems. So other steps in the development in 2000. Let me, the date is not, but the government has established an institute, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research, and one of their major mandates is to look into natural medicines, to research and to develop.
So, okay, that's quite interesting. I mean, exactly in what areas have we made progress that we're able to say, you know, from 0 to 10 or 100% that Nigeria has had, you know, breakthroughs in her own traditional medicine, whether you're talking about COVID or, you know, sickle cell anemia, HIV, for example. The world is desperate to get, you know, a final cure for HIV. And there are new diseases, you know, breaking out, Marburg, monkeypox, all kinds.
Yeah.
Where exactly are we in terms of areas where we have made good progress?
Added to what I've just said, like especially as you mentioned COVID, when it came, there were many claims here and there, you know, in the papers. There were, so what the Federal Ministry of Health did was to call those practitioners to make their submissions, which they did. And, you know, they were very, very active because, you know, when COVID came, there was no treatment. There was no drugs for treatment. So everybody was going into research, and the practitioners were very, very active. Because when the ministry asked them to submit their claims, we got close to 100, let me say 70 people that submitted claims. And
on COVID alone?
Yes.
Okay.
It was claims anyway.
Right.
And so, you know, of course, they were just claims. So we now directed them to get to NAFDAC. We compiled the lists, and then we sent it to NAFDAC, and then they followed it up individually. And some products have been listed out of that, up to 14.
14 success
as at the time
stories.
I knew, they were listed for, you know, management of symptoms of COVID.
But not cure.
Not cure, no.
Management of symptoms.
You know, it came with symptoms.
Yes.
And then the practitioners have, you know, formulas that could handle the symptoms. And of course, if you can remember, many people went into these practices.
Yes.
And whether they helped or not, we can see that what people were expecting, it didn't happen.
Now, one of the biggest challenges when it comes to traditional medicine is knowing exactly, in terms of dosage,
administration,
you know, administration and all of that, you know, contraindication, interaction with orthodox medicine and all of those. How scientific really are we now with our traditional medicine?
Okay, that, you know, that is usually what we hear. That there's no standard, there's no dosage. But I think it's not now. We have gone beyond that.
Okay.
We can authoritatively talk of standards and dosage. I first mentioned that we had our first edition of Herbal Pharmacopoeia in 2008. It's a standard document. You know, it starts from the cultivation of the plants. When you are talking of standards, it starts from the cultivation of the plants. And this is a document that specifies how, like, they take a medicinal plant and specify what it has to contain before it can give you what you want. All the specification, this is scientific, and if you are able to Google anything on medicinal plants, you will see that it's scientific. All the informations are there on the net for anybody to look into it. We have scientists that are, as I said, we have an institute, ITDU, that is National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development.
Okay. I mean, we are talking about the issues of safety, dosage, efficacy, quality, and standardization. But some will say that perhaps the biggest challenge that the traditional and herbal medicine in Nigeria face is the requirement for the standardization and the funding for research and development. So in that area, what is government doing to help develop this herbal and traditional medicine? Because they have to carry out toxicology and pharmacology requirements, don't they?
Yeah.
So what is government doing in that area to help them?
All right. The area of quality and safety, you know, NAFDAC is there. All of those preparations have to be certified, have to be further investigated by NAFDAC. Unless they give you a listing status, you cannot market it.
Okay.
You understand? So they have the capacity to determine the standards of medicinal products.
So what you're saying is that they are well regulated. We don't have, I mean,
Yes.
quacks, you know, people who would want
Substandard?
to, you know, circumvent the system, circumvent a regulator like NAFDAC,
Yes.
you know, for example.
They only regulate the products. That is, unfortunately, we don't have regulations for the practitioners.
Wow.
You know, when I talk of products, they only have control over products.
Right.
You know, but they don't regulate the practitioners.
Isn't that a challenge in itself?
It's a challenge, and that is, we are working on that. You know, we want the government is working towards establishing a council. First of all, you have to have a body that regulates. That body is not there, and that is the first step. You know, because if there is nobody, if there's nobody to regulate, then it means it's not regulated.
Right.
That is the practitioners I'm talking now, not the products. The products already we have NAFDAC that are doing that.
Well, you said we have you know, recorded milestones, but would you say that we have really integrated traditional medicine into our healthcare delivery system? If I go to the hospital for instance, malaria, I'm given orthodox medicine. So are we really integrating traditional medicine in Nigeria? Have we gotten there yet?
Not yet.
Why?
It's a gradual step, I can say, but we need a deliberate government effort to get to that. Those countries that have achieved that, they took deliberate steps. Absolutely. And even though the government is doing a lot, but we have not reached that point.
So where do we need to start from? Is it in the air from legislation? I mean, where should the lawmakers, are they even involved at all at this stage? Because in 2022, you would expect that Nigeria would have gone a lot, you know, further.
There was a draft bill which the Federal Executive Council approved in 2020. It passed through the FEC. So it was just remaining to get to the National Assembly for them to look at it and then act. Well, that is where we are now.
Okay. All right. We are making strides. We hope to make it faster.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Titus Dile, Director of Traditional, Complementary and Alternative Medicines at Ministry of Health here in Nigeria. Don't mix them up. They're different things.
Alternative and traditional.
That we've learned today.
They're two different things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.